What's up, y'all? This is Jonathan Lippy, Beyond the Harmony, BeyondTheHarmony.com. And today, we gotta set the record straight. One of our top Skull and Crossroads Society contributors, Lib21, brought this to my attention. My Mixtapes tweeted out that NBA Youngboy breaks the record for the most charting albums by any rapper in Billboard 200 history with 34 albums. We'll see about that. And a list, NBA Youngboy had 34 albums, E40 had 33 albums, Snoop Dogg with 30 albums. Did any of you know that Snoop had 30 albums? Gucci Mane at 29, Tech 9, wow, at 29. Props to Tech. Lil Wayne, 24. Nas has 24 albums. Jay-Z with 23 albums. Tupac with 21 albums. Tupac has 21 albums? Wait a minute. And then Future with 20 albums. And let me just state, I'm not throwing shade at this young man. I congratulate him. At age 25, he dropped 34 albums. And from what I hear, a large percentage of these are mixtapes. But still, no shade on NBA Youngboy. Congrats. However, Beyond the Harmony is always here to do the statistical analysis on all things Bone Thugs and Harmony. We love the stats, we love the history, and we love to make the point that there will never be another Bone Thug. So, through the Bone Thugs universe, can we find 34 charting albums for the Billboard 200? Methinks we can. But let's put the proof to the pudding. Also, shout out to E. Feezy Fonzarizi for having 33 albums. That means that E40 up until yesterday, E40 was the reigning champ until NBA Youngboy had 34. But we are about to dethrone NBA Youngboy and put Bone Thugs and Harmony back on top. Starting with the group albums. And by the way, just in case you may say, well, Bone Thugs and Harmony as a group. No. Snoop Dogg has some like the East Siders, some of the group albums that Snoop was in counted for Nas. The Firm counted. A couple other of the people that were on that list, some of their group or alternatively titled albums was counted in that collection. So the Bone Thugs and Harmony universe expands beyond just the Bone group albums. There's solo albums, compilation albums, Mo Thug albums, etc. And I bet you No Limit Records should be on this list as well if you factor in No Limit as like a conglomerate. And when 3 6 Mafia started making other group names like Tear the Club Up Thugs and all those other names, I thought, man, this is going to hurt them in these classifications and categorizations. All right, Bone Thugs and Harmony group albums. Every Bone album charted, including new waves, including THUGS. So let's go through the list. Faces of Death, Creeping on a Come Up, East 1999 Eternal, Art of War, BTNH Resurrection, Thug World Order, Thug Stories, Strength and Loyalty, Unify the World's Enemy, THUGS, New Waves, The Collection Volume 1, The Collection Volume 2, and The Greatest Hits. That's 14 albums right off the bat. Bone group albums that did not chart were World War III and Bone for Life. Also, I had to fact check this myself. I didn't think THUGS actually charted, but it charted at number 73, selling 15,000 copies its first week. That one was all about perfect timing, because it came out around the time Strength and Loyalty came out. All right, so in our back pocket, we got 14 Bone Thugs and Harmony group albums onto Mo Thugs and solo albums. So here we have 20. So that's going to bring us up to 34. So Mo Thugs 1, Mo Thugs 2, Mo Thugs 3, THUGS by Flesh and Bone, Fifth Dog Let Loose by Flesh and Bone, Thug by Nature by Lazy Bone, It's Not a Game by Lazy Bone, Bone Brothers 1, Bone Brothers 2, Thug Mentality 1999 by Crazy Bone, Thug on the Line by Crazy Bone, Gemini by Crazy Bone, Heaven's Movie by Bizzy Bone, The Gift by Bizzy Bone, Alpha and Omega by Bizzy Bone, Speaking in Tongues by Bizzy Bone, Thug's Revenge by Bizzy Bone, The Story by Bizzy Bone, The Midwest Cowboy by Bizzy Bone, A Song for You by Bizzy Bone. So that brings us to 34. We need 35 to beat NBA Youngboy. And I promised you I would get Bone Thugs and Harmony, the universe, over the top. So I don't know how Lib21 missed this, but Mo Thugs 4, The Movement, charted at number 17. And my assumption is that it didn't specify Billboard when you look at the Wikipedia article. However, I scroll down a bit on the page, it says Billboard, and it links directly to the Billboard site, and we could see Billboard. You see that Billboard? The movement, Mo Thugs, peak position 17. Weeks on the chart, 6 weeks. So Mo Thugs 4 makes us have 35. But we're not going to stop there. We're going to keep it going. How far can we bend the rules? Can we count Poetic Hustler's trials and tribulations? I mean, if you look at that first paragraph there, we see the names Crazy Bone, who served as executive producer with Lazy Bone, features guest appearances from Flesh and Bone, Crazy Bone, Lazy Bone, Potion, and Wishbone. So you got 4 of the 5 Bone members on this album on all different tracks. So at least 4 songs on the Poetic Hustlers album has Bone Thugs and Harmony members on it. I'm counting this, if you don't want to, you don't have to, but I'm counting this as 36 because I'm not sure anybody would have been purchasing this Poetic Hustlers album enough to push it to 96 on the US Billboard top R&B hip-hop albums if Bone Thugs and Harmony had nothing to do with it. Nothing against the Poetic Hustlers, but they certainly benefited from being part of Mo Thugs and Bone Thugs. All right, so we're at 36. I'm about to add 3 more. So Crazy Bone, Chasing the Devil, Temptation, number 27, peak. Eternal Legend, 51. East 99, The Leatherface Project, 78. So now we're up to 39 albums. We're about to add 5 more to that. So number 40, Thug Line Boss. This because NBA Youngboy was doing mixtapes, so we're going to use mixtapes. So Crazy Bone's Thug Line Boss. It's the 40th title we've listed that has charted. You can see here US R&B, US Rap 21. Okay, coming in at our 41st entry, Crazy Bone, The Fixed Tape Volume 1, Smoke on This, Peak R&B 66. The Fixed Tape Volume 2, Just One Mo Hit, which will be our 42nd entry, peaked at US Rap at 16. Our 43rd entry, Crazy Bone, The Fixed Tape Volume 3, Lyrical Paraphernalia, peaking at 64. Our 44th entry, The Fixed Tape Volume 4, Under the Influence, peak chart position number 1. Crazy had a number 1 on a mixtape. All right, we may be getting into territory where it may be considered reaching, but I mean, nonetheless, the proof is there. So with the 45th entry, Busy Bone, Back with the Thugs, peak chart position 52. And then Busy Bone, Crossroads 2010, peak position 35, which would make 46 titles. All right, we're going to collect 2 more here with our 47th and 48th entries. We got Lazy Bone, The New Revolution, peaking at 69. And then Lazy Bone, Starting from Scratch, How a Thug Was Born, peak US rap position 14. I found even more. Here comes the 49th, 50th, and 51st entries. But I will say I kind of see what Lib 21 was getting at now. You'll notice here Thug Brothers and Thug Brothers 2, which was mentioned at the very beginning of this video. Those were US charting titles. These additional titles that I've provided after the 34 that Lib 21 provided, some of them weren't in the US category. They were in the US rap or US R&B. But nonetheless, I'm going to add them in. Why not? But at 49, the 49th title, we got Thug Brothers with Young Noble, rest in peace, peaking at 50. Bone Brothers 3, peaking at 23 on US Rap. And then the collaboration album, Finally, with AK from Do or Die, peaking at 84 for US R&B and hip hop. All right, I'm definitely stretching it now, but I wanted to end it like on an even number. So this would be my 52nd entry into this contest here. This is Too True, a New Breed of Female. You might say, that's not Bone Thugs and Harmony. Well, kind of. Mo Thugs. It's Mo Thugs for sure. And we could see here the production was primarily handled by Archie Blaine as well as Crazy Bone, who served as the executive producer with Lazy Bone, and it features guest appearances from fellow Mo Thug members Ken Dog, Tombstone, Sin of Graveyard Shift, Flesh and Bone, Lazy Bone, and Crazy Bone. Near the end of the paragraph, it says it peaked at number 194 on the Billboard 200, dropping off the chart after only 1 week, and number 49 on the top R&B hip-hop albums, dropping off after 4 weeks. Along with a single, music video was released for Ballers Flossin', though the single failed to make it to the Billboard charts. But the album itself did make it. I wouldn't have known about this album if it wasn't for Bone Thugs and Harmony. So I'm counting this as the 52nd entry, and I could probably find more, but NBA Youngboy had 34 titles. I just provided 52 titles. You may disqualify some of these entries as not quite Bone Thugs-n-Harmony, and that's fair. You put those in the comments. Also, you might say, hey, this contest was for solo artists, not for group artists. However, at a minimum, Lib21 provided 34 titles to tie NBA Youngboy based on the same criteria of the US Billboard charts. Everything after that were the additional Billboard charts to bring the total for the Bone Thugs-n-Harmony universe up to 52 titles. And that's where I stopped at. Like I said, I could probably find some more, but we'll leave it at 52. Yes, it's Bone Thugs-n-Harmony as a group. Everybody on that chart of NBA Youngboy were all solo artists like E40, Tupac, Tech Nine, and so on. But we're just going to make sure we get Bone Thugs-n-Harmony shine on. Get this video out to anybody that thinks E40 got dethroned by NBA Youngboy and say, bitch, it'll never be another Bone Thug. There will never be another Bone Thug, and show them this video. On behalf of everybody at Beyond the Harmony, big shout out to Lib21, Cecil West, RC Thugster, Jordan Corey, and Matthew Weaver. I am Jonathan Lippy, bringing you the best in statistical analysis of all things Bone Thugs-n-Harmony to keep their names in your mouth and on top, because there will never be another Bone Thug. We'll catch you next time.